For years, the story went like this. Local AI is for toys. Summarize emails. Chat offline, play with small quantized models. But the moment you wanted an AI that could actually help you build software, read your code base, run tests, fix its own mistakes, use tools, you needed the cloud. You needed an API. End of story. That just changed. Qwen 3.8 is the first open-weight model that is genuinely useful for development inside an agentic harness. It thinks before it acts. It calls tools. It edits files, runs its own verification, and when its code is broken, it catches its own bug. I put it to the test with a single prompt. Build a 3D Tetris game in one self-contained HTML file. It read the task, wrote the whole game, rendering, controls, scoring, restart. Then launched a headless browser itself, tested the controls, verified the scoring, and shipped a working game in about 15 minutes. On my own hardware, not the cloud, my machine. Now before you go selling your RAM, one, it's still expensive. To be usable real context length, real speed, you need a 5090, a 4090, or an A6000. This is not a laptop model. It's a card that costs serious money. 2. The setup is a minefield. Which version do you even use? Which checkpoint? What quantization, FP8, FP16? What about MTP, speculative decoding, KV cache? There is no install and go. You end up reading GitHub issues to figure out which flags actually do anything. 3. The serving layer matters. vLLM is the sensible choice and you'll still spend an evening on its flags. 4. The harness. Claude Code, Codex, Open Code, DeepSeek's harness. None of them were built for this model. I wired Claude Code up to a local Qwen 3.8 and needed a small proxy in the middle just to translate the thinking effort parameter, because the model rejects the value Claude Code sends by default. Every harness needs its own adaptation layer. So if it's expensive and painful, why does this matter? Because for the first time, the capability gap is closed. Every model before, you could run it locally, but the moment you put it in a real agent loop, think, act, observe, retry, it fell apart. It rambled, it forgot the plan, it shipped code it never tested. Local meant toy, not because of the hardware, but because of the model. Qwen 3.8 is the first one that stays coherent through a long agentic session. It reasons before it writes and verifies after. And there's a dial. Turn the thinking down and it answers quick and cheap. Turn it up and it works through a hard problem like a senior engineer at your desk. That dial, controllable reasoning combined with tools, is the thing agentic coding runs on. And it's now something you can own. Point it at your private code. No data leaves the building. No per token bill that scales with usage. No vendor. So where does this leave us? Today, it's a 4090 end up affair and the setup is a hobby in itself. MTP here, FP8 there, another vLLM flag. You adapt Claude Code, you adapt Open Code, you chase down which version is which. But that friction is a software problem, not a physics problem. And software problems get solved. The trends, GPU price, bits per weight, harness tooling, all bend the same way. Today it's a 5090. A year from now, probably a mid-range card. 2 years from now, probably your work laptop. The cloud models will keep getting smarter. But for the first time, the kind of model that does real agentic development is open. That changes what owning your AI means, from a chatbot on a stick to an engineer on your hardware. Qwen 3.8 is not the local model you were promised back in 2023. It's too heavy, too fussy, too hungry. But it is the first one that works. And once works is on the table, everything else is just an optimization problem. Thanks for watching. The setup notes and benchmark numbers are in the description.